Will the Assistant Treasurer update the House on how the government is providing security to all Australian savings for their retirement? Are there any challenges to this approach?
We'll have no more of that. I call the Honourable Assistant Treasurer.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and I thank the honourable member for Bonner for his question and acknowledge his deep commitment to good economic policy. Madam Speaker, the savings of hard-working Australians has never been more important to the health of the Australian economy. With the intergenerational report showing that the number of Australians over the age of 65 will more than double over the next 4 decades, we need to encourage people to save for their retirement, and we need to protect those savings. That's why we on this side of the House are committed to no adverse or unexpected changes to super in this term of government, and that is why we are committed to reversing Labor's disastrous changes to the unclaimed monies regime. I'm asked, are there any challenges? Well, the biggest challenge comes from the chaotic approach to superannuation from those opposite. They've had every position under the sun. Consider this from the member for McMahon in his book Hearts and Minds, which you can get for a steal at the local book grocer. He said, and I quote, "Tax concessions for superannuation are justified. They help boost our pool of savings, and paring them back creates uncertainty." But now the member for McMahon in a speech on the 3rd of June this year said, quote, "It's indefensible to suggest we can leave superannuation tax concessions for another day. In fact, it is completely irresponsible." The Leader of the Opposition is no better. He said on the 23rd of June 2013 in a press release with his best friend, the member for Lilly, he said, and I quote, "Labor is the party of superannuation. We are the only party interested in growing the retirement savings of hard-working Australians." But now this year he insults millions of Australians with superannuation, calling it a legalised tax haven. And he wants to cut the tax concessions for more than 425,000 Australians to, quote, "improve the budget bottom line." Madam Speaker. Now, Madam Speaker, Labor can't be trusted with your savings. And in this year, the so-called year of big ideas, they have no ideas. The Shadow Assistant Treasurer, the member for Fraser, in one of his great speeches says, don't panic, the ideas are coming, and he said this, Labor's policy development process is like the proverbial duck, calm on the surface while paddling like hell underneath. So watch this pond, Madam Speaker. So watch this pond, Madam Speaker. Now, after tonight's episode of the killing season, it might not be long before they dump this damaged duck and replace it with the old swan.
I call the Prime Minister.
I ask for further